So these are some of the most important things to remember about the most successful courses on the platform, right? So the ideal length of a Udemy course, what should be the ideal length? Now this is something we'll talk about in the Skillshare module, and it's very, very different on Skillshare than it is on Udemy. But an ideal length for a Udemy course is the longer, the better. The reason that the longer the better is there's more potential watch time. Now, watch time is a crucial factor that Udemy looks at per student and overall, just in the entire course, right? So if you have 100 students in there and, each student on average watches like 5 minutes of watch time, right? Well, then you're gonna have 500 minutes of watch time accumulated, on that course. Now that 500 minutes of watch time is going to basically stack up against the minutes of watch time in another course, and that's going to be a ranking factor on how they suggest you and how you rank in the search results on the Udemy platform, right? So it's very, very important to add longer courses and add to your courses as you go, because longer courses can potentially accumulate more watch time. If there's only like an hour-long course, right, then there's only a potential hour that a student can watch. But if you have a 4-hour-long course, then there's 4 hours of potential watch time that you can accumulate. And even if every student doesn't go through that, if certain students do, it will add more watch time overall to your course and help you rank higher on the platform. Now, it doesn't have to be so long initially. I know I just scared some people with the 4-hour course. You don't have to create a 4-hour or a 5-hour or some ridiculous amount of time course right away. You can start very, very small and build on it as you go and take improvements and kind of improve your course overall as you go. You can add lectures to it as you go. This is something that I constantly do if I think of something. So a perfect example of this was like my Poshmark course, right? That's something that when I created it was like an hour and a half long, maybe like an hour and 20 minutes. It wasn't too long. But then as I slowly come up with better strategies to earn and sell on Poshmark, I add that idea and I add that course, I lecture to the actual course, thus basically increasing the overall potential watch time because the length of the course is longer, right? So that really, really helps long-term in ranking. And you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to jump ahead and create a 5-hour course right away. Instead, I wouldn't even recommend doing that. Instead, what you want to do is you want to create maybe a 40 minutes, like a 2-hour course max at first, and then learn from the initial students that you get in there, learn what they like, learn what they don't like, and learn what can potentially improve, and then add courses or add lectures to the course as you go to improve the course so that your ratings and your metrics go up, but also you're accumulating more potential watch time. Now, like I said, you can make improvements and add bonus lectures as you go at the end of the course, or you can add specific lectures in between lectures in the course. But one thing that you never want to do is you never want to delete lectures. Never delete lectures. Even if they're outdated lectures, what I would recommend that you do instead is you never want to delete lectures. Instead, what you want to do is take those outdated lectures out of the course and add them to like a specific section at the end of the course that's like outdated content or previous lectures from the past or something like that. Bonus lectures, if you want to even call it that, like a bonus lecture section, right? And the reason that you want to do that is to accumulate more potential watch time. You never want to delete a lecture. Instead, what you want to do is take that lecture, even if it's outdated, and add it to an end section so that people, if they want to, not every student's going to, but every other student that potentially wants to can watch those lectures as well. And that will accumulate more watch time. So you want to inspire engagement too. That's also going to be a major factor that Udemy uses to rank you on the algorithm. So the way that you can basically inspire engagement is tests, number one. You can implement tests into your course. I don't ever do that, but you definitely can. Implement tests. You can also implement exercises in there, and then you can inspire students to ask questions, and that's one of the ones that I do all the time. So if I'm going over something and I feel like I'm kind of touching on it fast, or if I'm going over something really technical or like marketing, like when I'm teaching a specific course, and I feel like the majority of students or just the general public won't necessarily understand where I'm coming from or the method that I'm teaching, what I'll basically do is I'll go through it and then I'll basically be like, and if you guys have any questions on this at all, just please let me know. You can message me on the platform, or you can simply ask it on the course Q&A so other students can see my answer to it and it can potentially help them, right? And what does that do? It inspires student engagement on the course, which is another factor that Udemy uses, kind of like YouTube in a way, with like likes and comments. If students are asking more questions and they're taking tests and they're going through exercises, they're spending more time on the platform, which is something that Udemy loves because Udemy wants people to spend more time on the platform so that they can sell them more courses and make more money, right? So student engagement you can inspire, and that will also help you on top of watch time to basically increase your overall rank on the platform in both suggested and search. Now, another thing that you want to keep in mind, that's something I've touched briefly on before too, is you want to create like a table of contents or an overview lecture. And you definitely want to plan out your course ahead of time before you even start recording. I used to make this mistake when I was starting. I would literally just wing it. I would have an idea in my mind and I would think, I just need to go through and teach how to do this, right? So I'm going to start recording. That was a huge mistake. It wasn't streamlined and it wasn't coherent, and one of the biggest criticisms that I got on those courses was like, it doesn't seem like he planned this out at all. There's lulls, it just doesn't fit well. Some of the lectures that were like lecture 2 should have been like at the end of the course and vice versa, right? So what you want to do first and foremost is plan out your lectures and plan out exactly what you plan on teaching in the course. You can always add to it later, but the reason that you want to do that is so it's streamlined and coherent, and there's some good structure there. But B, and more importantly, so that students can potentially see exactly what's going to be given to them and taught to them in the course, right? And the reason that this is important is because we go back to the watch time factor, right? So students can potentially jump to what they want to learn, and you're going to basically teach them exactly what's going to be covered in the course, at least plan to be covered initially, and more advanced students can jump ahead to what they came there for or what they want to know in the course, rather than just completely abandoning the course altogether. So this was a great example of things that I used to do wrong. For example, I just created a Premiere Pro course, right? And in a lot of those Premiere Pro editing courses, and this is something I literally give away in the beginning of the course, in this course, right, to my Udemy Premiere Pro course, and in that I outlined everything. Because probably like the first 5 or 6 lectures or so are very, very, very basic, right? So anybody that knows anything about Premiere Pro already and isn't a total beginner will not necessarily want to watch all those lectures in their entirety. And chances are, if I start them ahead of time and don't give them an overview of what's going to be taught, I'm going to lose a lot of those people. So what I did is I did an intro, and in the second one I did like a table of contents and a course overview that was like, hey guys, this is exactly what's going to be taught and in what order in this course. If you're interested in something specifically, jump ahead to this specific one or this specific lecture. And if you're more advanced, just feel free to jump ahead to what you already or what you came here for or what you need to know, right? And that basically, it's not ideal, because in an ideal world you'd want them to go through from start to finish all the way so you can accumulate all the watch time, but most people are not going to necessarily do that. Some people certainly will, but if you give them an overview, then you're at least accumulating some watch time per student instead of no watch time, right? The worst thing that could have happened to me in that course or in any of the courses, and the same thing goes for you in your courses, is somebody joins the course and they watch like the first 3 lectures and they're like, this is super basic, and they assume the entire course is going to be super basic like that. And then they don't watch any of it and they just leave and they pick another course, right? That's the worst thing that can happen to you. So instead, I recommend accumulating watch time by creating longer courses, inspiring engagement on your course by tests and exercises and also asking questions, and then doing an overview or a table of contents lecture that basically explains exactly what you're going to teach in the entire course. That will help you out a lot.